Being masculine over text is often misunderstood. Some guys assume that they need to always give short replies, they can never use an emoji, and they can't express any type of emotion. Thankfully, that's not the way it works. You don't have to be an emotionless robot to be a masculine guy and make a woman feel attracted to you via text. On that note, the first tip in this video that will include texting examples is aim to make your texts short, but do add in more words and signs of interest whenever necessary. So, while it is a bit of a masculine trait to reply in a short way, it doesn't mean that you should always do that, because if a woman doesn't have much interest in you and you're only replying in a short way, then she doesn't really have much to work with. Whereas if a woman is really interested in you and is almost desperate to be with you, then you can reply with very brief, short answers and she's still going to be interested. Additionally, she may look at your short replies in comparison to hers and feel like she's texting like an excited girl and you're texting like a man who isn't as playful as her. Since she is very attracted to you, she will like that. Yet, that approach doesn't work with all women, especially those who have a low to medium level of interest in you. So, in this first example, the girl really likes the guy and she texts him, "Hey, what's up, stranger?" He then replies with, "Chillin' at home. You?" Compared to being feminine about it, where he gives too much detail and is being too emotional by saying something like, "At home tonight, again, lol. I think I've been watching too much Netflix lately. What are you up to tonight?" with 2 question marks, right? So it's a bit of desperation there. So in this case, the masculine guy just says, "Chillin' at home, you." He doesn't really have to put in much effort there because the woman really likes him. And she replies with, "Same, bored. Come over." And she then replies with LOL, and he doesn't say anything else, right? This girl really likes him, and if she's going to want to see him, she's going to reply to that. He's put a bit of an invite out there for her to come over, and if she ignores that now, she's going to miss out on being with him. She then replies with, "When?" And he says, "Now." And she replies with, "Okay, I'll be there in about an hour." He then adds in a bit of charm and shows a bit more interest and is a little bit more sweet, so to speak, by adding in the X on the end there where he says, "See you then, X." So that then makes her feel excited that, okay, he is interested, he is looking at me in a sexual way, he is feeling something, rather than him just saying "see you then" and her not being totally sure. In a case where a woman is not totally sure, she might then get cold feet about it and say, "Actually, something's come up, I can't make it tonight," and so forth. That doesn't always happen with high interest women, but if you want to make sure, then you should also be aware to make the woman feel like you do have some interest in her rather than just texting her in a very blunt, basic way. Now, in the next example, the guy knows that the woman isn't that interested in him, but she is reaching out, which is a good sign of interest. Yet he knows that he has to put in a bit more effort, so rather than just saying "chilling at home, you," he says, "Hey beautiful, chilling at home tonight, you?" And he's being a bit charming there by addressing her in that way, right? He's showing some interest. He's letting her feel a bit more confident about the conversation because she's reaching out, and many women are afraid of being rejected and they do need a bit of reassurance every now and again. She then replies in the same way as before, but because the guy had referred to her as beautiful and was showing some subtle interest in there, she flirted back by adding in the upside down emoji there, right? So she's showing him that she's being playful, she's being flirtatious there, essentially saying, "I'm bored, I want to do something, let's do something," and so on. He then confidently assumes that she wants to see him and he says, "So are you coming over to my place or am I going over to yours? I have popcorn, by the way," with a smiley face. He's also being masculine there by taking the lead, right? He's making something happen, right? He's not just gonna keep hinting at the fact that he likes her or, having a chat and trying to get to know her. He's gonna move things forward. Women like guys who know what they want and aren't afraid to get it, right? Aren't afraid to actually move things forward. She then replies with, "LOL, I love popcorn." "Okay, come over. Let's hang out. Sound good?" "Yes, I can be there in like an hour." "Okay, see you then." Now, from a woman's perspective, she's not going to think of you as being any less masculine if you write a couple of extra words, right? So don't ever be afraid to say a bit and get things moving along between you and her, right? Don't be holding back thinking, "I've got to say less here, I've got to play it cool." in order to be masculine. If you're texting a woman and you're making her feel some attraction and then you move things forward, she's going to see you as a masculine man. She's going to see you as a guy who leads the way. You're taking charge, you're being decisive, you're making things happen, compared to a guy who just chats with her and chats and chats and chats and then doesn't make a move, or a guy who thinks that he needs to be very dry and not say much in order to be masculine. The next example of how to be masculine over text is to refer to her as girl. So rather than just saying, how's your day going? Have the balls, have the courage, have that raw masculinity about you where you can actually say, how's your day going, girl? Because you look at her as being girly in comparison to your masculinity. It doesn't mean that you should always refer to her as girl, but have the confidence, have the masculinity, have that awareness that women do want to feel the contrast between your masculine energy and their feminine energy, right? They want to feel different to you. They don't want to feel the same where you're just getting along like your buddies, right? They want to actually feel like you're manly. And as a result, she's going to get to feel girly around you, right? She's going to get to feel feminine around you. And that makes a woman wet just thinking about it, right? If she's texting you and imagining that you are quite a masculine guy in your behavior, and she starts imagining you and her in a bedroom situation, she will start to feel turned on by that. She'll start to feel like she's going to get to feel like a feminine woman around you. There's going to be an amazing contrast between your energy and hers, and as a result, she's going to truly enjoy the intimacy and sex that you and her have. Number 3, be decisive. Guys who lack masculinity tend to avoid making decisions with women and just hope that if they keep chatting with the woman, she'll make the decision, right? She'll lead the way. Here's an example. Yeah, I've been working a lot lately. Really should have more balance in life. Haven't gone out in ages. Yeah, it's important to maintain balance. Too much of one thing is never good. Yeah. So are you thinking of going out soon or? Not sure. Yeah, that's understandable. You do need to focus on your work, so it would be hard to make time. She then doesn't reply, so he sends another text saying, what sort of clubs do you like to go out to? Anything with a good DJ. Well, there's a place in the city that has DJ, whatever his name is. It's always a great night there. She then replies with cool, and he's hoping that if he keeps talking about going out and bringing up ideas about going out, then she'll say, hey, we should go out together, and he won't have to ask her out. In most cases, though, the woman won't do that. Right? She'll sense the guy's lack of masculinity, his lack of decisiveness, his inability to just take the lead, have the courage to do that. She'll sense it. It'll cause her to lose interest. And if she has enough interest in him, she'll still be waiting and hoping that he becomes decisive and makes a move. But if he doesn't, her interest will decrease and she may just stop replying to him altogether. So an alternative approach is where she says, yeah, I've been working a lot lately, really should have more balance in life, haven't gone out in ages. And the guy says, well, let's do something about that then. I have Thursday and Friday night open at the moment. Drinks this Friday after work? Yes, that sounds good actually. I really just need to let my hair down and have some fun. Oh, it will be fun. Garage bar on name of street near her work at 5:30 p.m. See you then. Okay, cool, see you then. And because of his decisiveness there, his courage to actually take the lead, he's gotten himself a date, right? She's going to catch up with him and have some drinks. She's been working a lot lately and she needs to let her hair down. And she's almost certainly going to want to get a bit of stress relief by hooking up with him that night and just releasing all the built up tension in her life. So it should be a good night for him. Now, of course, if he suggested catching up for after work drinks and she said that she can't, she's going to be busy and so forth, it doesn't mean that he is stuffed up. She's still going to see him as attractive because he's a masculine man that is able to take the lead like that. He's not a time waster or an indecisive guy that just keeps chatting and chatting and chatting, right? She is feeling attracted to him. So if she says that she can't make it, he can just simply suggest another time, another day, and catch up for a coffee or something like that. It doesn't matter. He's still masculine because he's taking the lead there and he doesn't need to lose confidence, right? She's not going to lose interest in him and say, I don't want to be with this guy now because he asked me out and I wasn't available. So therefore, if he says anything else, he's needy, he's desperate. That's not how it works. You just have to continue being a masculine man, make something happen and get to the good stuff. Now, the final example is a bit of an obvious one, but it's worth mentioning, and that is don't send feminine texts, right? So a feminine text is, you'll never guess what happened to me today, right? Or, oh my God, you'll never guess what happened to me today. Then she replies and asks what, and he says, I found the most amazing burgers in location, right? It's essentially a guy living in his feelings like a woman or like a feminine man. Now, that doesn't mean a masculine man can't tell a woman that he found a great burger place, right? He can do that. You can express some emotions, but you just don't do it in a feminine way like a woman or like a feminine man. You do it in a masculine way. And keep in mind that with texting, in many cases, you do need to put something out there to a woman and make her feel some interest in you. Being masculine is not about just sending nothing and saying, oh, I'm a masculine man, so, I focus on my purpose and my dreams, and, I don't have time for texting girls and sending them things. That's what boys do, that's what girls do, that's what time waster guys do. No. If you like a woman and you want to make her feel attracted via text, you do need to send something. You got to make her feel some attraction. So in the case of the burger example, he can send her a photo or two and say, best burgers in location, hit the spot. How are you today, Nadia? She then has something to work with there and can reply with something like, wow, that looks really tasty. I'm good. How are you, Mike? And he can then have a brief conversation with her and potentially even arrange to catch up for burgers in a couple of days or to get a coffee or a drink or whatever it may be. So it's important to understand that being masculine over text doesn't mean that you can't send anything to a woman that isn't a dry text, right? You can still send something. You can still send a written text, you can still send a voice text, you can send a photo or a video, but just make sure that you're coming across in a masculine way, right? You're not all in your feelings like the feminine guy in that example saying, oh my God, you'll never guess what happened to me today, and so on. Now, before I give you my final bonus tip on how to be masculine over text, I just want to point out that if you want to learn more about how to be masculine over text, I do have 1 hour and 10 minutes of dedicated training on masculinity via text in my program, Text Attraction. Text Attraction teaches you how to text women in a way that naturally sparks their attraction and makes them feel eager to meet up with you in person. It also includes my tested, proven to work advice on how to make women chase you once you begin dating them. So a bonus tip about being masculine over text is to understand that women actually appreciate it when they come across a guy who is able to take the lead and make things happen, right? You're not doing anything wrong by being the man that a woman wants you to be. Women see you as a breath of fresh air when they interact with you via text and things just move along from one step to the next. After a very brief text conversation, she's already saying yes to meeting up with you, which is what she wants. Right? If she's given you her number in person or she's matched with you on a dating app, she wants to get to a date. And you're not a guy who's just going to waste her time and chat for ages and hope that she eventually hints at catching up. You're going to be courageous and decisive. You're going to be the man and lead the way.